Formula One arrives in Australia for the first round of the season of the 2021 calendar. And no upgrades have arrived here in Australia because, of course, F1 have introduced a token system for upgrades and development between the 2021 and the 2023 seasons. So that then means that Mercedes look like they're going to continue their dominance at the front. Although Red Bull have made some progress over the winter, Mercedes do look comfortable through practice and were comfortably top at both sessions. But they say that they can't be complacent and that they do need to look for Red Bull. Meanwhile, Ferrari's woes continue. Their engine looks absolutely woeful and is only marginally faster than the Cosworth engine, considering the fact it's making its debut in the hybrid area for Cosworth. Ferrari do though are therefore counting the days until that new engine arrives at round 4 for the Italian Grand Prix. And Daniel Ricciardo comes into the Australian Grand Prix looking to end his rotten luck that he has had at his home event for some time, and says that the McLaren Mercedes car looks to be one of the best on the grid, but behind the front two, and says that they have closed the gap between to McLaren, from McLaren to Red Bull and Mercedes. But it is a Mercedes front row. Hamilton edging out George Russell in his second outing for the Mercedes by 2 tenths of a second. Verstappen lines up third with Alonso down in P4, a little bit of a way off with the rest. Sebastian Vettel puts his Aston Martin up in P5. Daniel Ricciardo happy with 6th place on his debut for McLaren in his home Grand Prix. Nico Hülkenberg was disappointed with his Red Bull, said that he made mistakes in the qualifying session and says more to come from the car. McLaren of Lando Norris starts 8. Running out the top 10 is Lance Stroll, and Esteban Ocon. The top 10 still have to start on the tyres they set their fastest time on in Q2. Outside the top 10 comes the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc and the Williams of Pierre Gasly. Williams showing that they have made some progress forward by getting both cars into Q2, with Peter Hampson starting in 14th. And the other car, the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz, starts down in 13th. Not where they want to be, but they're hoping their new engine and upgrades in Italy will be improved. The two AlphaTauris of Albon and Kvyat start down in 15th and 16th, a long way off anyone else. Alfa Romeo Cannavaro, great job on his debut to be ahead of the Ford of Sergio Perez. They start 17th and 18th. And on the back row of the grid, it's Mick Schumacher and Yuki Tsunoda. And now it's time for today's race. It's time for the Australian Grand Prix. Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another video of the F1 Project Phoenix 2021 Career Mode. Today we're doing Episode 1 for the Australian Grand Prix. Episode 2 in Bahrain will be coming out on Thursday, by the way, so make sure you turn on notification button and also subscribe. You guys absolutely smashed it on the pre-season episode. If you haven't seen that already, then recommend you go and check that out. I'll try and remember now to get the playlist in the description below. It might not be there on the time of upload, but I'll try and organise that so it will be there for future videos. But yes, looking at the race strategy, it is going to be a two-stop. I've been used to saying one-stop so many times on this game. It's a two-stop because the tyre wear mod that I've got on this game. 2 sets of mediums and then a set of softs. To be fair, Australia's a middle place for tyre wear. We might have to go for the TARs depending on how tough it becomes, but we'll see that as we go later into the Grand Prix as front lights come on, and away we go for the first episode of this series. And it's a good start. I initially bogged down a little bit, but we get the better start with using the overtake button. We're going to try and dive it down the inside of Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin car, but he pinches us out and we have to come across to cover Esteban Ocon. As we look at the front now, this is George Russell's getaway. He started on the front row, and Hamilton's unluck continues in Australia because he's now lost first place to his teammate. Hopefully we can see this in real life should Hamilton and Russell ever become teammates. So down the inside and out of Lance Stroll and up into P9 as we look now ahead to Lando Norris as we watch on with Carlos Sainz and his new Ferrari team. He's going around the outside of Ocon in the Alpine, and he's to be fair, it's a good overtake from Sainz because he was level with Gasly, and he's gone, instead of potentially losing a position, he's now gone forward 2 positions to be behind his teammates. As we're watching now on lap 2, we've got Stroll is starting to come back at us through the end of the first sector, but nothing doing there. As we're watching now on lap 3, and Nico Hulkenberg's Red Bull career might have just got off to a very bad start because he's bad on qualifying, and now he's out. Only managed 3 laps in that car, and the safety car, full course safety car, has been come out to retrieve that car as well. And this is going to be bad for us because whereas we were looking to go longer, yes, I think it's going to be most for people it's either going to be 2 to 3 stops this race, but it's too early for us to come in because otherwise we'd have to do a 3 stop. I think we can go a lot longer on these mediums, but Max Verstappen's been in the pits and he's now well outside the top 10, so he's lost out in this race big time. He's now down with Ilott and the 2 Fords, and they were starting right at the back as Hamilton's not bolting off here. He's slow off the air. He's taking a little bit of curbing on the inside, and you know what? We're going to have him here. This is a characteristic of the AI in F1 2020. Slow on the safety car restarts, and we're going to take the lead off him, and that puts a Williams in the lead. And I can't remember the last time a Williams led a race in real life. So yes, as we're watching now, the new 4th place man, because he's been overtaken by Russell, but Schumacher didn't pit, and now Alonso is going around the outside of him, and now Vettel is going to set up his fellow countryman as well, and this is going to be, he's going to try it for the outside. To be fair, the Alfa Romeo hasn't got the performance at it once. As we now look behind us with Hamilton, we forced out Hamilton there, but he is going to. We got a bit squirmy on the curve, and that's going to leave us a sit-in duck down the DRS straight. We're going to defend against Hamilton and Russell, try and leave them as much space as possible. But I think we got pinched. We might have pinched Russell there. Again, 3 wide. He could have just waited, to be honest. He's got the fresher tyres than his teammate. Yeah, took a bit of the curbing. It's a racing incident, but it puts Russell now as way down the incident. And then it gets worse for Mercedes because we shoved out Hamilton, and Alonso goes straight through on his Alpine. And moving to lap 11 now, Alonso is going to take the lead of this race. So again, we don't know what's going to truly happen with the strategy and everywhere, because obviously not everybody's made their final stop, but it'll be interesting to see what we can do as we come into the pits. Can we get a good stop, please? We're going to come outside the top 8, so that's going to be unfortunate for us. It's a 2.5 second stop. We're going to come out. Let's see where we are. There it goes through Russell. Again, we don't know what the soft tyre runners are doing, because obviously most of them went onto a set of mediums. We've gone on to a set of hards. I think that the tyre wear on the mediums is just a little bit too harsh for my setup or my liking, so the hards is definitely but crucially ahead of Schumacher. You see we've pulled pretty much a second and a half already, and we were level with him, and now Hamilton is going around the outside of Schumacher. Easy overtake with DRS, and Hamilton surely will zoom up to the back as you see how much we've left Schumacher behind. We're going to squeeze Hamilton into the wall. He's gone around the outside though, but we come back through the corner and back up into what is P14, and we're looking at this good battle ahead. This is the other Alfa Romeo of Ilott, along with the McLaren of Lando Norris, and there's an Alpha Tauri there. I think that's Albon. But first up is Ilott in the second, well now the first Alfa Romeo. Again, obviously everybody's a little bit out of sync in this race. due to the pit stop order, but we got easy overtake on Ilott, and as Russell goes past Albon, and we're going to make easy meet of Albon. Alonso is close to us, but again, this is good. And interestingly, Alonso, remember of course, who was the RaceNet leader, we've come out ahead of him, and as does Hamilton. Both of us haven't met. These a lot have made their final stops. So Alonso has just come out ahead of his old arch nemesis, Sebastian Vettel. So as Hamilton now tries to go around the outside, he's lost a bit of his front wing there on the front right end plate there. That might have been from that little bash, as we now have DRS. We got the DRS of Hamilton, and we're just going to cut back across him. Again, we haven't got the performance, and Hamilton eventually comes in to fix that front end plate, so that's his race pretty much done. We've got Alonso now going past, and Alonso is far too fast for us, which is a shame. But the fact that we've led twice in this Williams, it so shines signs of promise, as Mick Schumacher's F1 career has also gone down the drain, because in his first race he's out. The tyre wear though I was going to see if we could go to the end on these hards. Left rear is a problem, so we're going to have to come in at the end of this lap. To be fair, I don't think I think we'd probably left with 3 punches if we tried to go to the end. So we're going to come in with 5 laps left on a set of soft tyres. Now obviously this probably is going to throw away a podium, but Vettel was closing in at a rate of knots. So him, Ricciardo, Leclerc, who did well in the first round of pit stops in there. This is the group though. That's the group that we're going to try and catch up to with 5 laps remaining. 4 laps remaining actually now. We're going to come out just behind Esteban Ocon on the Alpine, and there's a big gap to the tail enders really, who have almost been lapped. I don't think they've quite been lapped by Alonso, because being slowed up by myself, but we've already caught up to Esteban Ocon, who's what a comparison of races for the Alpine today, with Alonso out in the lead, and Ocon now has been relegated to P13. And this is the little group we've got. Unfortunately, again, it was the AlphaTauri of Albon. Unfortunately for Albon, he's been relegated to the back of this group, which is a shame, because I was hoping that the AlphaTauri would be able to slow us back them all up, which they have actually. The 2 Mercedes are now right together. We're going to dive it down the inside of Albon. Easy move there, and up into P11. As we're now caught up to Carlos Sainz, his tyres have gone. If whoever Carlos's Bono will be, he'll be moaning, "My tyres are gone," over the radio. And unlike Lewis, Hamilton won't be going to set faster lap. To be fair, a couple more laps we could have caught Mercedes. You see, we're into DRS range, so the McLaren and all of their tyres have gone on the hards, compared to our soft tyres, which are still there. But still, it's 10th place. It's the best finish Williams have had since, well, I want to say on the road for about 3 years. Obviously they had that Gert Hockenheim result, which we don't talk about on this channel for other reasons. But Alonso won the Grand Prix from Vettel, Ricciardo. Both of those 3 will be happy to be on the podium. Leclerc, a big haul of points for Ferrari. They need the points while they can. Verstappen did well to recover after being like P15. Stroll, Norris, and George Russell getting the final points. Russell as well performing well, and ourselves and Hamilton not scoring. Sainz as well, he's got to reflect on, he needs to really reflect on how he wants to go forwards in this career. Ocon as well needs to do more. Albon did well to be ahead for so long. Then Gasly did a 3-stop, as did Perez and Tsunoda. The 3-stop really didn't work. Kvyat and Ilott just really lost out with Schumacher and Hulkenberg, the only 2 drivers not to finish. So yes, the Drivers' Championship is pretty much the same as the result, so we won't linger on that, with Alonso leading from Vettel and Ricciardo, so it's 2012 at the top there. In the Constructors though, Alpine have they lead only on race wins to Aston Martin, so that battle between Alpine, Aston Martin, and McLaren is definitely going to hotter up. Ferrari look a little bit further back, along with Red Bull and Mercedes. I'm sure Red Bull and Mercedes will bounce up if they don't get. They had a very messy race with and Williams ourselves just outside. So I think we can get points in this series. I hope we can. AlphaTauri 4 and Alfa Romeo, there's a less of a chance. If they do, they need something. They need an absolute pile up and a half just to get points. But yes, if you have enjoyed this video, then leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you see more episodes of the F1 Project Phoenix at the 2021 career mode when it comes out. Until the next video, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day, and goodbye.